My name's Steve Detsicas. I work for a company called TE Connectivity. We're a global manufacturer of interconnection solutions which stretch across massive marketplaces, from communication solutions, transportation solutions and general industrial, things like even medical devices. So there is a massive portfolio with 80,000 people globally. My remit within TE Connectivity is I am an environmental health and safety leader for the European section in connectors. So I look after a number of sites. Compliance and employee safety go hand in hand. We must be compliant to all regulations, whether they be a global regulation, a country regulation, a local regulation. We must keep our employees safe, we must protect the environment, we must, as a critical part of our business, be a good neighbour to all of our customers and people locally to our manufacturing sites. So it's really, really important. So the challenges are, as a global company, is how do you manage that? And how do you keep up to date with the changing legislation, whether it be globally, regionally or locally? We have to have something which actually tells us what is actually coming up, what has changed, what are the key things which we need to understand has an impact on our business. Our sites operate ISO 14001 standards, ISO 45001 standards for environmental and for occupational health and safety. So part of those requirements, and as part of a legal requirement, you need to understand what your legal requirements are for each site. The ISO standards support compliance against the regulations. Where Libryo fits in, Libryo gives you the tool to actually make sure that the information which you need, which is specific to your site, is correct, and that you have a legal register which is bespoke, and from that legal register you can do your evaluation of compliance, so you can see clearly where you've got compliance issues or where you are fully compliant. So I would say, looking for your opportunities for improvement, it's a great tool to actually say, okay, there are the regulations, this has changed, what am I going to do, and what's the impact on us as a business? What do we need to do to meet this new regulation? Looking through regulations and approved codes of practice to make sure that you're looking at the right sections to fully understand what your compliance issues were. Before the Libryo platform, we had to do it in one of two ways. We had a very basic system which was similar to Libryo, but didn't actually have the bandwidth which Libryo's got. So Libryo's bandwidth is that it's a truly multinational tool. So wherever it's implemented, you can get to see an English version, a translated version of what regulations apply to each site. So prior to Libryo, we have no ability to do that. So we're relying on local site knowledge to ensure that they are compliant to their national and local regulations. So with the Libryo platform, you have the ability to actually go in and actually look at the legal register for a site in a foreign country, have that information translated into English, so then you can actually do your own due diligence to make sure that the site is compliant. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of this is, prior to Libryo, we had a very basic system, and it was a case of, okay, how are we verifying that the regulations we think are applicable to us? So we were having to go back in through local government systems and also European systems to actually cross-reference. So the beauty of the Libryo platform is we don't have to do that. We've got a reliable source that we can update at any time with Libryo. Say for instance, we have a database based on the aspects of our business. So if one of our aspects changes significantly, all we do, we get hold of Libryo and say, one of our aspects has changed. We need to do the requalification of our legal register. They'll send through the database, we requalify answering their questions, and that will then update the legal register which we have. So there's a real benefit for not just standing still, because businesses do change. Businesses bring different items on board, but you need to make sure that you've got something which is actually picking up these changes, and that's where Libryo will deliver for you. What you want from a platform is something which is keeping you up to date without actually being too intrusive. So from a Libryo platform, we don't actually hear from Libryo unless anything's changed. So we don't get constantly bombarded with emails which say, this thing may be coming up. What we get is we get something which is really concise, which says, an email from Libryo, this has changed. So that at that point you will go in, you'll look at your Libryo account, and the first thing you see is what's changed. You click on the regulation which is been identified, and below it you'll find a synopsis, and it tells you, rather than you actually reading through all of the regulations, it tells you the part which is applicable, what's changed in that regulation. And then from that you can say, right, okay, I know that this is really applicable, this is something which I need to look at and work on. You click, I agree, I understand, so that then actually saves it as a part of your database, so that you can see that your team has actually looked at what's applicable in their region, on their sites. And then we have a whole management system where the dashboard will actually tell us, where our sites have been using Libryo, how often they've been accessing it, what regulations have changed, have they read, have they accepted, have they updated their legal register, have they looked at their evaluation of compliance. So there's a whole platform of this, but in the background what I would say is, as a team, you're not going to get Libryo just constantly bombarding you with emails saying, this is coming up, have you thought about this, have you thought about that? Once you get the Libryo platform on board, our experience in the UK, on the UK sites where we first rolled this out, is Libryo will send you an email only when there is something which you need to actually look at and identify and read and evaluate. The onboarding process from the outset, it's straightforward. The process basically takes you down through a questionnaire. It's simple, yes, no. Then you get demonstrations with the team, a personal account manager who will look after you and train you on the system. You're trained on the system, and if you're like me, you forget, because 2 weeks ago I had this training for an hour. So with Libryo, the beauty of their system is you've got a live web chat on there which you can actually talk to somebody straight through the issue. There's help tools on there to remind you how to do things. But what I would also say is, from my personal point of view, being somebody who's not great at IT, it's not a great love of mine, IT. It's a function of what I need to do as a business. So with Zach and the team, I would say that the onboarding process is first class. I don't generally do recommendations. 2 points I'd make. I'm doing a testimonial for this platform. There's a reason why I'm doing a testimonial for this platform. It's because it works, and it works well for us. So without doing a formal recommendation for Libryo, what I would say is you should strongly consider it. If you've got some complexities in your business and you've got genuine concerns about making sure that you've got the right legal compliance tool, you should strongly consider the Libryo platform.